Hey, scrapbook friends, it's Nicole. Hello again, and welcome back to another Theme Park Thursday. We are on layout 30 of our weekly series where I am creating an entire Disney album, which is now looking like it's probably going to be maybe 3 volumes of a trip I took to Disney World in March of 2022 with my 2 adult daughters. We had a great time, and I've had a lot of fun working through these layouts, kind of showing you my process, and I hope that you've had fun watching me. I appreciate your comments, your feedback. This layout today is based on an Allison Davis sketch from Scrapbook Generation. I had to kind of dig deep. I used a retired collection called Spring Medley, and I didn't have any of the embellishments for it. So I had to kind of dig in my old leftover stash to find some embellishments, but I think it worked really well. I had fun with it. I could have done some things more quickly if I would have thought about it, but I love the way it turned out, and I was able to use some papers that I love without them hopefully overpowering the rest of the layout. So stay tuned to see how this all came together. So this is what we have left for Epcot, I'm pretty sure. And it looks like 4 layouts, maybe 5, depending on how I split these up. I do have the rest of the golden statues, and I was thinking I would just copy the layout that we did in the Magic Kingdom book and put it in the Epcot section, so I might not show you guys that one. That might just count as a throwback. And I did go ahead and take my original album planning guide that when I laid out how I was going to do the albums, or how the layouts in the album, I've mixed it up a little bit because some of them I've turned into single page layouts and some of them I turned into double page, vice versa. So this is kind of the new updated one. I did go through all the layouts we've done so far. So last week we did Remy's, and this right here is 30 pages. So each of these columns is 1 pack of refill pages. I do not like to do 45 pages. I used to. When I first started with CM albums, I would cram as many pages in there as I could, but as I've gotten a little bit older, I realized I just can't, I'm not comfortable lifting them. So I'm still not sure what I'm going to do about how to arrange these photos. I cannot seem, or these layouts, I cannot seem to not work chronologically. But I'm not adhering the layouts. I'm just tucking them under the page protector. So who knows what we'll end up doing. But in any case, I've got these 4 layouts left for Epcot, and this one is the food. And it's getting a little tricky at this point because I've got some nighttime photos and some daytime photos kind of mixed in together, and that whole chronological thing. So I also have the topiaries, and I was playing with the idea of doing this as a full page, but I only have 6 photos. I don't really want to do a full page. I'm going to do a half page, but I want, but this, I don't know, the food, I want to put the food before. So I'm having a little struggle with that. And I may do the topiaries on one side and then the 50th on the other side, to keep my double pages, because I don't know where I'm going to end the book and where I'm going to need a single page for a last page. But that's a future Nicole problem. So let's go ahead and look at what we've got here. These are just the foods we ate. Oh, look, 3 pictures basically the same. It was the Flower and Garden Festival. So Epcot is all about these festivals where they just have special foods that you can't get at other times of year. I have this whole series. I don't know what I was thinking taking them, or what I was thinking printing them, because I'm not going to use all of those, and then just a couple extra little things to remind me what the foods are. So basically I have 1, 2, this is the same essential photo. I think the lighting's a little bit better on that one, so that can go away. This is also the same photo. Don't really know which one to choose. I think maybe this one. This one shows a better image of the dessert though. Okay, we'll do that one. And then that one, and then these 3 of Michelle with the pineapple on a skewer. I think it's gonna have to be this one, although there's like a ghost behind her. Definitely not this one. This is, no flash. So it's gonna be one of these. And I think it needs to be the one with the flash. And then do I want to do something with this whole series of Katie eating a ice cream sandwich. I kind of don't think I do. I mean, I don't want to put that one in for sure. Although she, you know, hams it up. She's like her dad. And that's probably why I took all these pictures. But I don't, there's one that she's just smiling and showing us the cookie. So we'll just do that. We're going to call it 8 photos for this food, flower and garden festival. And, you know, I'm kind of tempted to use that dine punch again, but I just used it like the very last layout. I don't really want to do that. So maybe we're going to go with more of like the flower and garden festival theme, and then possibly use those same papers next week for the topiaries. So I pulled out a couple of my old paper packs. This is Spring Medley, and this is Happy Garden. This came from Japan. I think this was like a gift with purchase incentive, you know, buy something and get something for free. And this is a lot of flowers, and I'm not really a flowery person, but I do like this pink. I think there's some potential here, especially the reverse side that kind of has the less flowery, and they're not really solids, but they're a little bit less flowery. But we're wearing these blue shirts, and I know I think I've already talked about this, that I've done a whole bunch of blue in this album. But I think I'm going to go with Spring Medley. This is, I think, from 2020. Not exactly sure what year this was from. But as you can see, I have quite a bit of it. I tend to buy, you know, often 2 or 3 packs. And that way I know I'll have enough for what I want to do. Let's see if one of these, this blue kind of matches our shirts. This paper I love. This kind of looks like granite countertop or something, or ice cream with sprinkles in it. I do also like this little raindrop one. Why didn't I see that when I was doing our rain pages? I like this one, but it's very kind of beachy, and I don't feel like, you know, these aren't beach photos. The green floral's not too bad on the back. This one might be a little bit better than the green floral, actually. I do like this cloud paper with the little dandelions on the back. Maybe we need a little bit of the dark blue to tie things together. Obviously, I've cut some circles out of something in here. I don't know what that was for. And then there's this paper that's kind of, ooh, I like that blue. Oh, that's the little dandelion wispies again. And I like this kind of khaki color. So let's look at these. It doesn't look like I have any of the stickers or the embellishments. That makes it a little bit harder. But we've got gobs of flower punches and, you know, vines and stuff like that. And my computer's upstairs, so I'm not going to pull up Pinterest this time. I'm just going to figure this one out on my own. I only have this one little piece of this, so if I wanted to do something like with the border, I feel like I've done that a lot though, where I divide the middle of the page and then do stuff on the top and bottom. We could do, I really like Allison Davis from Scrapbook Generation. She does sketches, and I really like the style of her sketches. And I do have a bunch of those printed out that I could look through. Maybe I'll do that. Let me pull out my Allison Davis sketches and we'll flip through those. All right, as you can see, I really like these sketches. I have 2 big fat binders like this, the Scrapbook Generation. This one is 7+ photos in a double page. So I've got, the other one is, you know, I think the smallest is 3 pages on a double page up to 6, but I have it just divided like this. And so since I have 8 photos, I'm just going to go ahead and flip ahead to where it says 8. And then we'll just go through here really quickly. I like this one, but I don't know how much I can crop my photos. So I've got, we could crop that one down a little bit. That one we could crop down. That one we could definitely crop down. We could do one, I don't have one just of Michelle, but I could do something like that one. Oh, I don't have the back. Some of them have a front and back. I don't want stars. Ooh, this is all verticals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that could be fun with the little squares. And then I could just use all my verticals. The problem is that these are those digital size photos, so they're not actually 4 by 6. They're 4 by, 5 1/4. That's a 4 by 6 card behind it. So that makes this a little bit hard, but I could just do a border at the top and bottom. I do like that one. Just knowing that I have mostly horizontals. I don't have any 5 by 7s. There's that layout I always do. I like this. This is where you kind of take one piece over either side, but... And, oh, I apparently printed this one twice. A lot of their sketches are free. They have, they do free sketches all the time, or some of these are the sketches that I did purchase the ebook and print those out. All right, I think I'm going to do this one. I like this one too. I just don't know if I can cut. I guess I could put that right there. And those are on the side. I don't know. I like this one, but I think I'm going to do this one because I don't have to trim my photos down. So I'm just going to pull it out of the book. I did get like a heavy duty binder that has like locking clamps and stuff, so it won't, so that the rings don't come apart, because these get really heavy. So one thing that I'm feeling really bad about with this album is that I cannot find any of my memorabilia. I'm usually really, really good to save my memorabilia, and I thought that I would be able to easily find it. So what I usually do when I come home from a trip or something like this is we get all these big Ziploc bags with Creative Memories paper packs. And so I save these and I take them with me when I travel, and I fill it up with, brochures, tickets, whatever. All my memorabilia will go in this bag, and I bring it home. And then I take each of these bags and I have these plastic bins that I got at Costco, and they're just labeled by the year. So this trip happened in 2022. So theoretically, I should have a bag like this. But this was Disneyland when we went in the spring. This was when we went to New York. And my daughter's graduation, the Spam Museum, and Disney 50, but this was Halloween. So I don't have the right memorabilia for this layout. It is somewhere in my house, and this is from 2018, so that album is done. This is what was left over. So I was hoping to show you some of the ways that you can incorporate memorabilia into your albums, but it's not going to be able to be in this series. But that does make it a little harder for me to, create these layouts. So this layout, it looks like everything is going to be covered except this one space for journaling. And of course mine, because my pictures together are not going to be 12 full inches, I'm going to have a line across the top and bottom. So I think I'm just going to use some of my scrap paper for the backing. So I have some of the Life at the Lake. That was in one of our newer collections. I got just these papers, and they're lightweight paperweight. They're going to be perfect for this. They're not going to add too much extra bulk. So I'm going to use these for the back of my paper. It doesn't matter that you can kind of see the design through it, because we're not going to be able to see anything. And in fact, I think I'm going to pull this out and pull my folder back out and see what scraps I have, rather than using all these pretty whole pieces of cardstock. I'll keep this one out. So the sketch says it needs to be a 2 by 2 square. I wish I could use my square punch, but that's 1 3/4, and that math doesn't add up to be for the spacing that I'm going to need. So I guess we're doing 2 by 2 squares, and I do have a bunch of papers that I can use to get those squares. So I'll pull those out without making you watch. I do wish I could remember what I did with this. This looks like a recipe template or something. And obviously saved all my little pieces. It'd be cool to do something with these, but I don't know what it goes to. So I don't have as many small pieces as I thought that I did. It looks like they did 8 different papers. All right, so let me cut some squares. I'm just going to use my personal trimmer for this because they're already small. And I want them to be 2 by 2. And I'm never sure with this. Actually, that edge doesn't look very straight, so I'm just going to clean this edge off. I'm never sure with this if I'm supposed to put it like over the line, just touching the line. I tend to like cover the line up, but I think that makes my squares a little bit too big. I'm going to try this one, cutting it, covering the line up. And then I'm going to get my ruler out. We're going to measure it to see. Well, that feels like right about exactly where it needs to be. So obviously we're going to cover up the line. This one already 2 inches. Oh, that makes it nice. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a few from this one. We'll use several of the flowers because I already had this 2-inch piece. Let's see if this one is 2 inches. A little bit more than 2 inches, actually. This one's too small. The edges of this one aren't really clean. It's been rattling around in my bin of papers for a while, so I'm kind of cleaning up the edges as I go. Let's see, how long is it? Not quite 6 inches, so I can easily clean up these edges. I actually like this kind of darker. It's a little darker on one side. I like the darker blue, so we'll start with that side and cut. I think we can get 2. We won't be able to get 3. See, this one's a little bit longer though. You'd think it would be so easy to cut straight squares with a straight trimmer, but apparently that one doesn't look straight to me either. It's definitely not 2 inches. So I got a whole bunch of 2 by 2 squares. I think it's more than I'm going to need for this little section. And I need to figure out something that can go across the top. I probably need to put my photos down first and then do the squares. And I love this, and I think I'm going to use it somehow in this little journaling box section over here. So we have, oh, this one's nighttime. This one's nighttime. This is the famous violet lemonade that people love. So these 4 kind of look like they go this. I don't want Katie to be down here. I think I need to be down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Put that one of us together. Kind of like this. Look, I mean, I've got a huge amount of space left at the top. That's very interesting to me because it's not really supposed to be that way. So my ruler, I mean, and these are like, I haven't trimmed any of these photos. So these are like 5 1/4. I mean, that's a significant difference from a 4 by 6 photo. So if you get your pictures printed someplace that only does true 4 by 6 and it kind of crops them in for you, you're not going to have this problem. But because I get the ones that are true digital size, this is what I've got. So I think I'm going to put a stripe so that it looks like it's going behind the patchwork quilt. And I have to have a mat around here. I'll do a stripe. I think I'll do like, I want to do it a little bit heavier at the bottom than the top. So I don't want to do 3/4 and 3/4. I want to do 1 inch at the top, bottom, and a 1/2 inch at the top. And I think I want to use, well, I pulled out all those colors. And I guess I stuck them all back in. I kind of like the gingham. That's kind of foodie, picnic-y. But I don't know how that's going to be as a stripe, and it's going to be hard to match it to go across when I trim this. Although it could look like a little picnic blanket, huh? Definitely does match her shirts. Guess I'm pulling these all back out. I think maybe I'll use this one, which is kind of that same effect, but not so strong. And then I want to use something for the journal box. And I kind of want it to be this, which is like it looks like a kind of a handmade paper texture. You know, I mean, it's smooth paper, but it's got printed on that kind of handmade paper texture design. So I'm gonna cut an inch, 2 1-inch pieces and 2 1/2-inch pieces. All right. Let's see how the pattern is on this little guy. Got a 1-inch piece. And I just want to know that when I put them together, is it going to look okay? I hope so. This one has a little bit, you can see it very well in the video. It's got a little bit of like a darker stripe almost in the middle, and I want those to line up, but I think that's close enough right there. So let's see if the 1/2-inch pieces work. Oh yeah, it looks like they might work too. I don't know, the stripe is not quite the same, but it's going to be close enough. All right. Ooh, the back of this is this dark blue, which I think I might use for my mat around here. So that's good. We'll have both of those sides. I'll put that one away. And let's go ahead and adhere the 1-inch stripes on the bottom along both sides of the layout. We'll do that first, and then I will adhere the 1/2-inch strips on the top and be right back. So our top and bottom strips are on, and now do we put the pictures on? Hopefully they fit. I should have measured. Okay, I think that's close enough. They don't quite fit. I probably could have gotten away with another 1/16 of an inch or so. But it's going to work. Kind of lining it up with the side of the paper, and maybe I should do the squares first, but it's too late. I wanted to make sure that the lines would fit. Yeah, there's hardly any gap, just a hairline of a gap, and I kind of like the hair of a gap. So we won't do this side yet. Let's do the squares, and I probably don't need to put the squares behind. So but that's only 4 of them that don't go. So I may just put them behind just to help me with the spacing. I know I'm going to use this dark blue for my mat. Maybe. Actually, that's a little bit dark. Maybe I'm going to use this. I may double mat, actually. We'll see. So I have only one of this size, although I can cut some more out of that later. But I want to use some of these. I don't want to use too much of that paper because this is this one. So it's just a matter of, you know, kind of figuring out, you know, a random-ish pattern. Put some flowers in there. I don't know that I want the flowers and the granite together. So let me play with this. And once I come up with a pattern that I like, I'll come back and we'll stick it down. Okay, so I got interrupted by my family for a minute while I was in the in the arranging phase, and then I just found myself starting to stick the pieces down while I was talking to them, forgetting that I was supposed to be waiting for you guys. So I've stuck a few of these down. I forgot when I first started putting the pieces down, I'd butted it up against the this border right here, but it has to go off the edge because it's a 2-inch piece. So in order for it to equal 12 inches, instead of, you know, whatever that would have been, 10 and a half, I needed to go off the edge. So we're going all the way up to the top. And hopefully, if my squares are straight and if they're really 2 inches, then the math is going to work out just right when I stick it on here. Well, maybe almost just quite. I might just even slice that little piece off if I need to. So I tried to not put like these two patterns together too much, but in order for me to have them both, these are my two favorites, kind of the flower and the granite, and I would have either had to not have the granite. I guess I could do that. As you can see, I'm still kind of stuck, because then these are that way or that way, so there's not quite enough pieces if I don't want to have anything touching its neighbor. So yeah, so I just come kind of fiddling with it as I get them stuck down, and if when it's all over I hate it, I will pull it back up and see what I can do. So I am going to put pieces in this middle section. I have several of this flower left over. I'm just going to put 4 of them probably in the middle because it's going to be covered up by that photo, but that will help keep my lines straight, I hope. So let me stick all of these down, and then we'll come back and keep going with the rest of the layout. Okay, so as I was sticking this down, I thought, you know, if you had like a checkerboard paper, you could just put that checkerboard paper here, and that would save you all the piecing. It was a little fiddly to get it all together. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I had this checkerboard paper. So I could have just used a piece of this and gotten very much the same look without having to do all that little fussy cutting. But, and I did have to kind of finesse it, kind of wiggle it to get the corners to match up. I tried to keep my lines really straight. But what that meant is that right here, there's a little bit of a gap. I don't know if I can scoot the picture over or what I can do. Over here, I had to overlap just a smidge. And over here, I can't decide if I should like take an extra piece and put it underneath just to fill in that gap so you don't see it, or if it's not going to matter. But you guys know me, you know how I am, it's going to matter. So I have this piece that had a little ragged edge, so I end up not using it. So I'm going to just stick it, just butt it up against its little friend right here. It's not exactly the same color, but it's close. And that just feels, oh, my little precious rock paper. That just kind of fills in that gap so that you can't see. And some of that just could totally be my own inability to cut. You know, they could be just a hair smaller than 2 inches. So, but that works. I don't know, that kind of, I can see that that's not quite matching, but nobody's going to care, right? Just tell me nobody's going to care. Okay, so now we'll stick these down and then figure out what we're going to do for the journal box right here. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to do for embellishments, since I don't have any of the embellishments that went with Spring Medley. I don't think I have any. I will check my stash, but I don't think I have anything left from this. So I wanted this one. I want the 2. Oh, I'm down there, so I guess I'll be up here and up here. Oh, I don't want Katie by herself down here. Darn it. All right, I'll be up here. But this is a nighttime one. Okay, so like that. Overthinking, again, one of my talents, overthinking. Hopefully this will line up. Again, like I said, it didn't quite, I might have gone just a little bit over the edge. It might be a little bit more than 12 inches too. Who knows what I'm doing. Right there, see, it's not quite touching. But remember the Mickey's Cavalcade parade page where I end up coming back and putting lines in between all the pictures. Maybe I should have left a little white line on purpose. Ordinarily, I would rather put Michelle here and Katie here because she's kind of looking off the page, but for some reason, I don't know. Actually, I do. I think I need to do it that way. Put Katie here, put Michelle in the middle. I don't like to have anybody like looking off the page. I like them to be, I don't know why. That's a layout rule I learned all those years ago in yearbook class. All right, so now I just need this piece, which needs to be, well, it's supposed to be a 4x6, but I think I want to make it a 4 1/4. I'll go a hair bigger than 4 1/4 just because I'm not exactly 100% sure of those measurements. Yeah, it actually looks like it's right on there at 4 1/4. So we will, nope, not 4 1/4, 5 1/4. That was almost a disaster. Okay, 4 inches by 5 1/4, which is actually nice because I don't have to fold out my arm. And I'm curious, when you cut a piece this size out of a whole piece of paper, do you cut a whole strip and then end up with an extra strip, or do you just cut the piece out and leave the like an L-shaped piece or, you know, a Utah-shaped piece left over? I know my friend Donna Guest, she just cuts the size she needs and leaves the rest of the paper, but I feel like I have trouble keeping my scrap papers tidy if I do it that way. And so I tend to, I'd rather have little small pieces, but I don't know. Maybe that's more wasteful than, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to be wrong. All right, that's a hair taller, but I don't think that's going to matter. And then I am going to use this, and I think I'm going to put it just right here, just one little strip across the bottom, and then I can journal right in there. So this needs to be 4 inches wide. Oh, and maybe a strip. Maybe I'll cut this. Let's see, it is it's just shy of 1.5. I can't decide if I want I like the width of this. I like the weight of it. But I feel like I want something else right there, like a skinnier strip of something. Do I have a skinny strip? Ooh, this piece is left over from when I was doing those other pieces. But I must have cut this when I didn't have a new blade in, and so it's really jagged. I'm going to use my personal trimmer to clean that edge off. I feel like it does just a better job when I just want to shave off a smidge and make it a really clean cut. So I need this to be 4 inches, so I don't need to try to fiddle with the whole thing. It's going to be a little tricky because it's so skinny. Just kind of lining it up with the edge of this blade. Hopefully that's straight. That looks pretty straight. Okay. I was just going to use this blue, and the edge of this piece is a little crinkly, and I'm kind of fussy about that, but I'm just going to tuck it under right here. It's a hair long, so I'll just hide that little wrinkly edge. And this piece, I have gone off the edge a little bit. This picture also went off the edge, so I may just have to slice off a sliver with my 12-inch trimmer. Oh, you know, I'm going to put this, tuck this under this piece because it wasn't quite exactly aligned. And then we'll put this down. Oh yeah, I am happy with that. Okay, now to figure out what we're going to, oh, I've got to do that other side. we're going to do the mat for this photo, and I have to decide if I'm going to use I kind of want to use this, but I like the blue, the contrast of the blue. So I don't necessarily like the blue right up against it, but I like the blue this way. So I think, and it's a different blue, right? I think I'm going to double matte, which I don't usually do, and I don't usually do a picture not of a person, but I think I'm going to double matte this so that it's the blue on the outside and then the little kind of khaki brown on the inside. I think that's going to work for me. I just got to now remember where I put that other piece when I was talking to you about how do you cut your paper. All right, so we're cutting 2 mats, and it has on here measurements that you want it to be a 4.5 by 6.5 inch mat with just a 1/4 inch. But because I want to do 2, I think I'm going to do one that's 4.25 by, but I don't want it to be 6.25 because my picture isn't 6. So I'm just going to eyeball it. Oh, except I need both of these. Well, this is the inside mat. And I know that I want the outside mat to be about a 1/2 inch bigger than this. So I'm going to just cut off, I'm going to err on the side of caution. And I'm just going to cut off. I like to keep 12-inch strips whenever I can because I can punch with those. So I'll just cut this one off, and then we'll see how that little mat piece is going to be about 1/8 of an inch. Actually, you can also use the edge of your mat right here. If I line the picture up with the edge of the gray mat, I can also use that because that's about 1/8 of an inch. It's a little bit bigger than the one I left, but it's on the bottom, so that's okay. And then we'll double mat right here. And it might be time for me to flip my mat because this blue paper, for whatever reason, is not liking. All right, so now I have to decide, do I just want to have the 1/4 inch mat like they have in the directions, or do I want to go a little bit bigger? I kind of like going a little bit bigger with like a 1/2 inch mat. Do that one, or I could do that one. And I think with this whole big space, I think I might as well do the 1/2 inch mat. So we'll stick this guy down, and let's see if I'll just use a little ruler here to make it exactly 1/2 inch from the outside edge. And then I want this to be on the 1/2 inch line, which is right here. So I've lined the edge of my ruler up with the edge of my mat, and because it's this thick acrylic ruler, it works really great. It butts up against this edge, and so I've got it just lined up with the edge of my mat, and then I'm lining that up with the edge of, or with the line, the 1/2 inch line. Actually, I should do the ruler first. Actually, I can put the ruler down here, brace it on the bottom lip, and then I can scoot this so it matches exactly. You do have to scoot the ruler out of the way. All right, so if you see, I'm bracing it against this little raised lip. You could do it on either side, but I'm bracing it against this little edge, and then making this, the edge of the ruler is lined up against this 1/2 inch line, which is the start of the grid. And then when I slide this under, it moved a little bit. Keep it straight right here. Then I put the 1/2 inch line right at the edge of the mat. Nope, I wasn't at the 1/2 inch line. I need it to be on the, I put it on the 1/2 inch. I need to put it on the edge of the ruler. The edge of the ruler. Again, does it matter? Can you just eyeball stuff? Absolutely you can. I kind of like it with the little extra, but the paper's bent, so I am still gonna make it a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. We'll see how I feel about that. Kind of like that. Oh, so the title is supposed to go down here. Long title. I think I'm just going to write festival food. I would love to, I wish I had some of the script. We had a script ABC sticker for a while. Need a flower or something there too. All right. I think it's going to go just like that. I'm kind of using the picture itself to line that up with this. I love when I can use like one piece of paper and the front and back work for what I want it to work for. Now that doesn't look straight right there, so let's see. Now the ruler is straight, so I will put the picture down. I don't love how it overlaps right there, but I don't know how else to do it because I didn't want to have two dark ones. I already have these two corners dark, so I think let's do that. And then I'm liking it. It needs some journaling. It needs embellishment there. All right, I'm gonna dig out my embellishments and see what I can find. I have this bin of just random embellishments that like are left over from other projects. You know, if we used them for a class or something like that, and I just didn't know what to do with them. So I have no idea what a lot of these come from. This looks like it's from like Woodland Whimsy, which is the baby collection a long, long time ago. Looks like a school one. All these big ones that look like plates. I didn't really love those, although maybe. But I did manage to come up with a few flowers and leaves that are kind of in this same color family. These might have been Botanical Burst. I like the little cutout leaves. So I think I'm gonna do, just because it's a Flower and Garden Festival, I don't think I like that big one. I think it's too big for what I want to do. That one actually is a smidge pink, but I feel like it goes along with that. So if I don't use this one, then I can pretend that one's white. I'll do these three, and that one, and then these three. Always that rule of threes. And I have these little embellishments that are also not from any of these, and kind of the colors are a little bit similar, so I may use a few of these little dots on there. The layout idea has, you know, it says long title, and it's kind of across the bottom of the picture, but I don't think that's going to work for me. I could maybe go across the top of the picture, but that would mess up all my embellishments. And I think I'm just gonna use my precious blue blue letter stickers, because I mean there's a little bit of white. I don't know, I have to figure that one out. And then I'm just gonna journal about, because it's the Food and Wine Festival, we got to have, you know, got to try lots of yummy, it's not Food and Wine, I'm sorry, I always get those two mixed up in my brain. Because it was Flower and Garden Festival, we got to try a lot of sample sizes of some yummy foods. So let me stick these guys down. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I think, oh, that was supposed to be my motto for this page, wasn't it? For this layout was the simple layouts, which, you know, all this pattern paper kind of broke that, but maybe I don't know how I feel about that one. Maybe that needs to go to the outside. Something like that. All right, I think that's going to be plenty of embellishments, but then it's what do we do with the letters? I'll have to pull those out and play with them. I want to say festival food. And man, I wish I had the cursive letters. I wonder, they're sold out on the website and I just don't think I have any left. I did see, you know, there's kind of this orange and yellow and gold. And so I did have a few flowers that had kind of some of that orange, but I didn't feel like, I felt like that was too much with the orange. So I just kind of stuck with the blue and the green. And I love that these matched. So I think I'm going to just, I think I'm going to find some stickers or some sticker letters and decide festival white. I think it's going to be festival food in white letters, lowercase festival, uppercase food. And then I'll journal and I'll stick all these guys down and I'll be back. All right, I'm using my technique of positioning my sticker letters on the zero centering ruler and then kind of playing around with where I want them and if I want them like this. I think I do like it. Maybe about right here, festival, and then put food down there. So, but because they're a 1/4 inch down, I want it to overlap like that. So I need to move this. Let's see where I need it so that they can sit right about there. I'm going to move this down and then I'll position these. I think I'll start with the L because I want this to be, I'm going to have to trace around it because this ended up on a white flower. Oh, unless I scoot it over. Maybe I'll scoot it over so it's not on a white. I haven't stuck my flowers down. I have my multi-purpose tool somewhere, but just find that it's fast to just use my fingers. Okay, I like how the T kind of crossed over 2 of the little squares. Kind of ties those together. Does that look straight? All right, festival. And then we'll do food the same way. I'm having to pull out my second page of sticker letters. Perhaps it's the third because I've used so many of these collegiate sticker letters. It's kind of nice to have, to not have to color any in. All right, festival food. We'll find the dot to the I. Put that on there. All right, I think I'm going to use some foam squares for some of these little flowers. And of course, the repositionable tape is perfect for these little laser cut type designs. So put the flowers on. I think I like the darker green. Kind of position it again before I where's my little foam squares? All right, I still have a bunch of these little tiny ones from before they changed the design of the foam squares so you get fewer of the small ones and more of a variety. I don't think I want to do all of them. I'll do this guy straight down. It's sorry, what's the word? My brain's not working. Embossed, so it's textured, so there's a little bit of shape. So maybe I do have to use a foam square for all of these, just because I don't want to squish it, but I don't feel like the adhesive will stick very well. All right, so I guess we're using a foam square on each one, and just in the middle, just a smidge, and I want to make sure that it doesn't cover up my letters. All right, I like that. I'm not really a flower person. And, you know, I'm finding as I'm working on this series, trying to use up all my old stash, you know, papers I've had for years, that for a long time I didn't buy the embellishments and the matte packs. And I think because I didn't really know how to use them. And now I'm regretting it because now I kind of know how to use them and I don't have them. So it's made it a little harder for me to not have all the pieces to these collections now that I've learned how to use them. I do wish I had another flower or something to go right here. I think I want this to be down more onto the blue. Let's scoot all this. I wonder if I could scoot this down without damaging the blue paper. I'll do it in there. I'll tuck it in there, and then I'll put this right here. All right, that looks cute. Festival food. And I wonder if I should journal first before I stick these guys down. No, that one might go better here, and then I could have the smaller one. Well, maybe that blue one. I'll do that. Apparently I didn't spend enough time positioning the flowers before I stuck them down. Okay, I like that better. This gives me a blue one and a green one down here, and then it'll give me 2 blues and a green over there. Well, I think I'll put the leaves down first because they're the ones that kind of take up the most space. And then I'll journal, and I think that's it. Oh, then I'll decide if I want to put any more of those little gems. But if I put these on, then when I'm trying to write, these might get in the way of my hand. So let me do some quick journaling, and then we'll be back to finish the last of the embellishments. So here it is, the finished product. I just said the best thing about any Epcot festival is all the fun food booths where you can order sample sizes of all sorts of delicious meals and treats. If I could find my little booklet, I might go through and label. Like this one is the local wildflower honey mascarpone cheesecake right here. It might be fun to kind of label these things, but I can't find my book. So someday I'm going to find that whole container, that whole Ziploc bag full of all the things I saved for this. But until then, we're just going to have to live without knowing what any of these foods are, except for the Flower and Garden Festival favorite, Violet Lemonade. I just put a little tag, and I did end up putting a few of the little embellishments, the little epoxy dots. I feel like it went okay with the little granite-y looking, not granite, probably quartz actually. But I think it turned out very cute. I think it turned out a lot like the sketch, which, you know, my my layouts don't always turn out a lot like the sketch. I'll turn the slide off so you can maybe see the picture a little bit better. We'll hide the, there we go, we'll shade the light. Now that I'm not having to work, it could be a little bit darker down here. But there you go. There's our festival food page. This is layout 30. Layout 30 in our Theme Park Thursday series. I think we'll probably go, this book will probably go to 35, probably not 40, and I think we're gonna have to split it at the end of Epcot. So we'll see. I need to look back through my photos and see if I skipped anything. I have a bad feeling that I pulled some pictures out and they're not in one of these compartments. They're just in their film envelope. I know I got this one, which was the Safari at Animal Kingdom, so that needs to not get lost. But I think there's one more that maybe I do have one more layout for this page or for this book besides the 3 or 4 that I have left. And maybe I'll just take these that I thought I was going to do as single pages, and maybe I'll do a double page spread with 6 photos. I mean, that wouldn't be the end of the world. That'll kind of stretch it out. Sometimes you want to stretch it out and sometimes you want to squeeze them in. And at first I thought I was squeezing them in, so I consolidated. But now if I'm going to go to 3 albums, which, you know, why not? What the heck? Then we might do that. So here we go, layout 30, festival food. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week with episode 31, which will probably be the topiaries. All right, we'll decide. We'll see what I decide about a double page or a single page. But thanks for experimenting along with me. Thanks again to Allison Davis from Scrapbook Generation. I'll put a link to their site in my description. I am not affiliated with them in any way, except I've been using her sketches for many years and I'm a big fan. So here you go, layout 30, and we'll see you next week.